Ladies and gentlemen, and worms, all 8 million of you around the world and around the globe, welcome back to 2023's officially second worst reviewed game of the year, Redfall! We're joined by our ever-present football rapist, the co-host, the man with a mission, the buck, the legend, the one who plays Wobbly World and Wobbly Life in Roblox 24/7 a day. Hey. Go ahead, Tucker, introduce yourself.
What was the first thing that you said I was? A football something?
The ever-present football player rapist.
What does that mean?
From a song. Introduce yourself, damn it, we're recording.
Hello.
All right, hello. All right, Tucker, tell me what's the goal today?
Goal is to finish up exploring the map.
Yeah, we gotta.
And if we can do more, we'll do more.
We'll do more, yeah. We're not gonna record too much tonight. It's 6/3/23 at 11 p.m. And we have another special guest in studio. Come in and say hello, special guest.
Special guest is busy with something.
Is what? Busy with
Special
something?
guest. Yeah.
What is special guest doing?
Busy on something called the Switch.
Gwen, come say hi. Come say hi, Tucker's mic. We think we need
Why
to
did
do
you have to
another
say hi
Tucker's
in mine?
Corner on the Wii U. We got to get the screen recording again. Why'd the fog just randomly break out? All right, for the sake of finishing Redfall, you know what? We're actually really close to doing the top of the map. Let's go start. Say hello, Quinny. The last time you guys heard from Quinny, it was, "We're planting blueberries."
We're planting blueberries.
Maybe tonight would be a good night to record part 2 of Wobbly Life. We've been progressing slowly but surely. Let's start getting the top corner of the map. So the goal tonight before it gets too late is clear the map. Tucker and I really want to be done with this game. Now Tucker absolutely can't stand it. He wants to be done with it. He's like, we have so many games to record. Oh my, teleport us out of here. But we're stuck on the same too. He's not wrong. He's not wrong. We actually got our Project Stellar mod today. So, Tucker, you have a teleport. Get us out of this shit.
Fine.
I don't think I can even climb up there.
Jump on the right side.
Oh my god. Garbage day. Just jump on the right side just takes me off. Ah! This game's so generous about its parkour. You can just go anywhere and be anything. Why is it so foggy out of nowhere? Is this dynamic weather?
No idea.
Anyway, we got our Project Stellar mod. So that means we now have, as soon as I get done with it, an HDMI on the Xbox. And the Tucker's Corner I'm the most excited about will be on deck, which is going to be SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom. That might even be a next weekend thing if we can really get around to it. If I get around to getting the mod on there. Still really busy with the farm and the garden, and I got a lot of projects on the old burner, but it's good to be recording. Sometimes it's especially sometimes hard to motivate ourselves when the game isn't the best. Not the best. But we're going to get back into that. We're going to talk about that. I read the article that's making the rounds about the development of Redfall, and damn it, Tucker, I should have read it aloud to you so we could both talk about it. That was my B. But the gist of it is pretty simple. They're going to blame Microsoft, but it's not really entirely Microsoft's fault. ZeniMax owns Bethesda, okay? Can you hear me, Tucker?
Yep.
All right. And Bethesda owned Arkane.
Yeah.
All right. Well, ZeniMax was shopping around to be sold. It figured that it could get sold off. This is the exact same gas station from the other map.
They just copied and pasted.
So they wanted to get sold. They knew that they were going to get probably bought out. They were looking to be bought out after how Fallout 76 went out. And they figured, all right, we need to up our market cap. We need to be, we need to better promote and advertise ourselves as like a studio you would really want to buy. So they said, hey, let's develop live service games, because live service games make revenue after launch. That's their big thing, and they've proven to be super profitable because of Fortnite and, you know, like Call of Duty Warzone and all those games have all Overwatch, all the live service games at that time, to this day, still do really well. But it's changed a bit. But especially at that time, they were really like just making so much money, especially Fortnite. So Redfall was being developed by Arkane, and Arkane was known for critically acclaimed games that didn't commercially do that great. So like Prey, people love Prey, but it didn't sell that great. Dishonored, people freaking love Dishonored, but it still didn't sell that great. Made money, but it wasn't like a huge money maker. Oh, dude, look at this. Somebody's getting... Now the vampires like pigs. There's a surprising lack of gore in this game, and then there's a mutilated pig.
Slaughtered pig.
Yeah. There's supposed to be like a cave here. That's what we're looking for this time. So...
Is it over here somewhere?
Well, I don't know. Let's look, and if you find it, tell me. So the next thing that happens is that ZeniMax goes to Arkane, who is developing Redfall, but they're developing it as a single-player vampire game. That's their vision. ZeniMax says, no, we need a live service game because that's what everybody's doing these days, and we need a multiplayer game. So they have to completely shift their development, like, overnight. And then they keep getting mixed orders, like, it needs to be like Far Cry. No, it needs to be like Borderlands. It needs to be both Far Cry and Borderlands and vampires. And people who like play test for Arkane. Oh, here it is. We're coming.
Okay, I'll teleport us down there.
All right, we're coming around the studio and we're like, all right, we'll play test this for you. And then they would tell Arkane, like, guys, this game has like a lot of issues and it feels like it doesn't have a direction at all. It doesn't feel like there's nothing to gel it together or to set it apart. It feels like it's a bunch of different ideas crammed into this just awkward game.
Watch it. Stand back. Stand back.
I was gonna weapon wire them. You can, all right. You can hack them.
Yeah.
All right, whatever. So the big part of the article that had to do with that is.
Oh my God.
Is that climb up? Ooh, looks like there's like a mega vampire here. There's a bunch of vampires. It's a nest. God, the melee is so unresponsive in this game a lot of the time.
This pistol I got really strong against vampires.
What is?
My pistol.
Oh, nice.
Because it's almost guaranteed to put him into the stake state.
Very nice.
That actually doesn't sound half bad. Stake state.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Okay, so Arkane likes single player games. And outside playtesters were coming in and telling Arkane, hey, this isn't up to your guys' usual standard. This game doesn't seem to have a real focus or a set of ideas. And ZeniMax was... Basically, they did this really odd build. The game had a lot of microtransactions in it when they showed it off to Microsoft. Well, it turns out Microsoft wasn't really thinking about Arkane. They wanted Bethesda. Arkane was just like a nice little bonus. And they were extremely hands-off with Arkane. There's some, like, yellow things we can interact with down here. I figured we might as well do that. Look at all these freaking vampires.
I think these vampires are just super underleveled.
Something's wrong, because I know we're still playing on the hard difficulty.
What has changed? Why are these guys so easy?
I don't know. I'm going to double check the difficulty. So, Microsoft buys Arkane, and turns out Microsoft didn't really care that ZeniMax was making live service games, especially because live service games were beginning to go out of vogue around that time because they'd become like Fallout 76 and you know, just a lot of games have become increasingly controversial because of the pay to win stuff and like the shoving the microtransactions down people's throat. You know, it's just not popular anymore. I don't even know where we changed the difficulty. Oh, here it is. Difficulty. Midnight. Yeah, we're on the hardest. So, well, you know what I mean. The hardest that's unlocked at launch. Sweet. Let's get this quest done. They say the same stuff a lot, don't they?
Mm-hmm. This just shouts rushed.
So with Starfield, that is Todd Howard's bit. Can you teleport us out of here?
Hold up.
All right, wait a minute. That's Todd Howard's baby. He's been wanting to develop that for a long time. And when they bought Bethesda, who was really who they were after, they talked with Todd, they talked with Bethesda, and they all agreed, like, we're gonna make one really, really good AAA game for the Xbox here, and it's gonna be Starfield. So Microsoft was super hands-on from moment one, and has been with Starfield. Like, they've been giving it a lot of money, a lot of TLC, really trying to make sure that it goes right. But Arkane was making Redfall, and they really weren't even paying attention to it. And then they're like, okay, we haven't had a good AAA release in a long time. And the decision was, and Prey was getting really good reviews and so forth. And so they decided, you know what, Arkane's making Redfall. Let's make that the headliner of our game showcase for this year. And so that's what they decided to do, was they created this really high budget, super cool trailer that a lot of people had watched and got a bunch of people hyped, as those game trailers tend to do. Showed off, hey, this is Arkane, who has a really good reputation. This is going to be their latest and greatest big time hit. It's going to be amazing. I bet you guys can't wait. And guess what? This time it's multiplayer, and this time it's got looter shooter elements like Borderlands. Internally, what had occurred, though, is that over 70% of Arkane staff had left the company. Arkane Austin had left because they did not want to work on a multiplayer game, and they didn't want to work on Redfall. So basically, they bled their talent out. All the people that worked on Dishonored and Prey and stuff didn't want anything to do with this game. And the staff that remained and kept, and then there was a weird part of the article that's like, Texas has very Republican conservative policies, and so people don't want to live there. I don't know how much of a aspect of that this was. I think this was straight up what the article said originally, which is, you know, people at Arkane basically worked on certain styles of games. That's what they wanted to work on, and this was everything but that. This was completely different than what they had done in the past, and they didn't want to work on it. They didn't want to do a live service game, which, you know, generally leaves, oh my god, a bad taste in people's mouths these days.
Everything went wrong.
Yep. And so they were basically skeleton staffed, and then the pandemic hit, so they were on remote work on top of that. And then you had the typical thing that happens with game design these days, like Anthem and any game that releases poorly. There just isn't a chief. There is no like leader at the top. No set creative director, game designer saying, this is the game we're making. Here, oh, that looks cool. I still appreciate the map. Like, this whale looks cool on top of the waves, even though it's still weird that the vampires can control the ocean.
Yeah. They never really truly explained that.
Hey, it's saying we still haven't done this mission.
I'm inside of a whale.
How'd you do it? Oh, whoa.
Somebody's sleeping in this.
That's Ishmael, no. Jonah swallowed by the whale.
Scented candles. I can understand that.
Sell it for more litter rubbish. At least they...
I'd buy that for $1.
I'd buy that for $1. Bonus points that Tucker's in 8th grade and got a RoboCop reference in. You guys should all appreciate that, especially the TikTok generation coming up. So what I mean by too many chiefs, not enough Indians, they're like sitting there trying to create this mutant hybrid baby. It's like, it's the best of Arkane and it's the best of all the live service stuff, so we can always generate money out of it, but nobody wants to work on it. Nobody wants to be a part of it. So they're like, all right, just make us Borderlands, but Arkane. And then they're like, okay, make us Far Cry, but it's Arkane. And then they switch the directive 5-6 different times, and basically nobody at Arkane wanted to do a live service game, and nobody wanted to do a multiplayer game. They wanted to make single player action adventure style games like they had done up to this point. And then these people who were like the internal playtesters who Arkane consults with came to see the game when it was nearing launch, and they're like, guys, what happened? Like, nothing has changed. Nothing is gelling. It's like you guys didn't even touch it for the last 3 years. So the game was delayed based upon that, and then delayed to Halloween 22, and then delayed to early 23, and eventually May 23. So basically a year and a half of delays. Then they promised 60 FPS, and then they had to say, well, we're not going to have 60 FPS at launch. And then it came out, and we all know it's been really terribly reviewed. And people feel like it's a crisis for Xbox and Microsoft. We've talked about that a lot during this Let's Play. Overall, the story is highly familiar to Anthem. Very familiar to Anthem, where Anthem didn't have a set direction. It went through about 20 odd freaking creative directors. They never really knew what they wanted the game to be. But in Anthem's case, Anthem was a whole lot more salvageable. A lot more salvageable. Honestly, had they just put the money up and been patient, I really think that that game could have gone places, even though it had its, you know, major issues. They did.
Because unlike... Oh, sorry.
Oh, you go ahead.
Because unlike Redfall, Anthem actually had some really visible good qualities of it.
Yeah, there was some distinct things about Anthem, namely the flying robot suits and the, you know, fairly like elaborate fantasy open world. There was 100%. I made a big video on this I'm fairly proud of called Capstone Epilogue Anthem that goes into detail about what happened there and what the plan was looking like, because not many people followed it when it was in that last 6 months of its life, when the rumor was we were going to get Anthem next. And then we had the news article come out that they were literally in talks with EA that very week on just what was going to happen to Anthem, and EA decided not to continue the project. There were things that would have made Anthem... The Anthem was salvageable. Redfall, Microsoft has now said twice that they're going to try to, you know, save it. But Sea of Thieves was in a better state, definitely. A lot of these games for Microsoft that have come out rough came out with better foundations. Sea of Thieves was empty and void of content, but it was basically like, here's a platform for the future. Here's what you can build off of this. I don't know why we haven't unlocked the cave. We went directly into the cave.
Do we miss like a certain area or something?
Well, there's still like a yellow thing there. I guess we have to go teleport us down. We'll go through it one last time. If it doesn't work, then we'll just move on. So, in Anthem's case, too, they scraped together that E3 demo that everybody watched, and people were convinced it was going to be amazing. Another lying trailer. It's weird because in engineering, there's a saying I learned from your Uncle Derek Tucker that you under-promise, over-deliver. And yet in the gaming industry, that's a very technically driven industry. It's always over-promise and under-deliver anymore. So... Redfall, like, oh dude, it's so janky. So look at that, just look at the animation. The arms are crossing, they're over long.
That was necessary.
Absolutely. So they put together a cool CG trailer, whereas Anthem put together, that was an actual gameplay demo. Now it was held together with duct tape and rubber bands, and you had to be basically a wizard to play it apparently. And it just functioned in the most rudimentary sense, but it was actually gameplay. Whereas Redfall just had the cinematic trailer, and that's all we had. And it turns out that the game wasn't even close to being like that trailer, neither here at launch nor at that time. And so, yeah, there's just a lot less to build off of. So, Tucker, what's your opinion about the development of Redfall?
Definitely not a good idea to go out of your strengths to try and make a game.
That would be your conclusion with this one? Like, you just went way too out of your wheelhouse?
Yeah, because they were making Arkane before that. When they made Prey and Dishonored.
Single player games.
Yeah, single player games, and they're heavily fighting focused.
Action adventure, like you explore and you have a character. Like people have said that if you put all these characters together, you'd have one character from Arkane. That's the way they went. You didn't have multiple characters. You had one really, really cool character with an amazing toolkit, and then you had to take them through these really handcrafted levels that tested every part of your abilities in your toolkit with that character. I mean, the thing that always gets me about this game is just how bad the vampire combat is. For this being the focus of this game, this is a vampire game. Dude, I don't know why this cave isn't unlocking.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just gonna put another marker. We're going to this place next. In fact, there'll be a safe house close. Shoot. Something about Arkane, I think. Get us back
You
on
were
track.
saying, dude, I forgot too.
Yeah. Point is, it was seriously flawed. Phil Spencer's pretty much admitted to that fact. I think that they have to do at least some updates because it says on the box, not 60 FPS at launch. It's coming afterwards. They've promised like 3-4 different times. And people are blaming Xbox for it. It's a bad look. It's a bad look, I'm not going to lie. But you can't blame the console when it's the most powerful console, and that is true. If the game is not coded well, then it doesn't matter. You can have, you know, a PC that's these days probably 1.5 times as powerful as a Series X and have games like Jedi Fallen Order run like dog doo-doo on them because they just weren't optimized for that system well. The trouble here is that this was supposed to be an Xbox exclusive, and it doesn't run that well on Xbox, which is pretty damn frustrating, obviously. And a lot of the subreddit is very quiet. I've noticed our views, Tucker, on these episodes have gone from like 70 to 100 down to like 2 or 3. Have you noticed that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
People have completely lost interest in this.
They've lost interest in this, and they've lost interest on the subreddit, and basically the community is down to like, you'll see like 2 or 3 freaking upvotes now on like the posts in the subreddit, and most of them just talk about why have the devs not said anything, why have the devs not said anything, what's going on. So hopefully they're pulling, Tucker, you talked about this, a No Man's Sky, and their heads are down and they're just going to try to fix this baby. Or there's like literally no one working at Arkane anymore, because it sounds like, I mean, they were already down to 30% staff, and Microsoft scratching their heads on the fact that they put a lot of promises behind a game that might not be worth the time. All that being said, I am still of the controversial, and everyone's free to disagree on this, that this is not that bad, which isn't to say it's good by any stretch of the imagination.
Just that people, I think, are just trying to completely drag it through the mud.
Yeah, they're piling
even
on.
Though it's not near as, or even though it's bad, but it's
bad.
not that bad.
It's bad, but hey, you can get in here with a buddy, and if you play it on Game Pass, you can totally get in here and shoot some stuff and not feel bad about it. That being said, Tucker and I talked about this. If you paid for this, you have every right in the world to be very pissed off. Very pissed off. If you were sold this game at launch and you paid $100 in the midst of the inflation and the economy we're in, you know, where it's tough to even meet the damn grocery bills anymore, getting tougher all the time, dude, you should be outraged by this, and I don't blame you. It should have either been delayed or canceled in your case. Tucker and I went to Walmart looking for a physical copy. What happened, Tucker?
It was just gone.
Yeah, there was no physical copy of this game. Let's go do this quest. And I know that what physical copies are out there have a disclaimer on them that it's not 60 FPS at launch, even though 60 FPS is on the box. I mean, that just tells you how convoluted and bad the development went. It reminds me a lot of Fallout 76. Just disorganized, not enough hands on deck, not enough time. Just something goes terribly wrong anymore. I'm not sure what it is. At the same time, what's bizarre is people are like, what's going on with AAA gaming? Why is it falling apart? Why is this such a bad year? Okay, Diablo 4 just came out and it released to 90s. You got Zelda Tears of the Kingdom or whatever it is. What's the name of it, Tucker?
Yeah, I think that's what it's called.
Tears of the Kingdom. Okay, people are saying it's the game of the century. It's going down as one of the greatest games ever made. Hi-Fi Rush just came out on Game Pass. It was an overnight secret release. It got 90s and 80s. What's some other? There's been like a 9 or that Hogwarts game got really good reviews.
Hogwarts Legacy.
God of War, was that this year?
Ragnarok. No, that's last year.
That's last year. Okay. There's been like 12 games come out this year that have just gotten like amazing reviews. Okay, lagging, and there's only 2 of us and we're in the same room. Great.
You punched the vampire and you teleported like 5 feet away.
Yeah. The ping. the point there makes itself. The people are bitching.
Oh yeah, the same thing happened to me just now too.
Oh my god.
I wasn't even in here.
Have you noticed that? So we're definitely on midnight, but these vampires are like easy right now. Like nothing.
Yeah.
Something's going on.
Something.
These
definitely
stupid.
is going
This
on.
game being on a server is so stupid that I can't get over it. And a game that's full of like questionable and stupid game development decisions. The fact that this game is on a server somewhere is the worst of them. It's lagging right now. Tucker and I are in the same room. We're on half gig internet. It's plenty fast. Grandma's watching Hallmark. That's not going to drag it down. And yet it's struggling. Of course, it's not optimized, but a lot of it's netcode. You can't pause it in single player. There's just so many oddities by choosing to make this an online game. Making the fact that you can't play this offline. It's installed on the Xbox, and yet it's playing like we're playing through the cloud. The cloud games play better. And something is clearly going on with this instance of the world, because all of these people don't even shoot. They're just falling over. They're just dying. Look at this.
They have like no health anymore.
No. What is this?
Went from easy to normal to easy again.
Yeah, well, remember the last time we played, these guys were at least taking 4 or 5 hits.
Yeah.
Don't shoot your gun. I guarantee we don't need to. This is the problem here with Redfall, guys. Like, and it's buggy, all right? And I still argue there's salvation. We were talking about vampires. I know that was random, but it finally came back to me. Oh shoot, I shot. He got UV'd in one beam. I think vampires should have been like mini bosses. Tucker and I were talking about this. I had this series of videos I wanted to make, and I wanted to call it what I would have done, because at one time my brother and I worked in game development. We had a game development studio. Okay, we did games, and this game would have been an action adventure game. I'm not against it being multiplayer. I actually like that, but you strip down the looter shooter stuff. That's out of here immediately. Don't even worry about it, because it's already a bad looter shooter. You can't save it. Get rid of it. Make it, Tucker talked about this, make a weapon wheel. What's the weapon wheel? It's different tools on how to kill vampires. There's so much amazing vampire fiction out there. I'm thinking John Carpenter's vampires, all right? What I'm thinking is, you go into a vampire fight and you better be prepared, okay? But they also have to follow the rules. They can't be out during the day. They're allergic to garlic. They have to be invited in, the cross, holy water, and all these become your tools. And that's what you get like Zelda, is you get better tools. But you know, every time you go into hunt a vampire, you better be ready, because they can kill you right now. They're ultra powerful, and it's more of like a manhunter style game, the most dangerous game. You're playing these immortal beasts that are still, when you get down to it, human beings that have lived centuries, so they're hyper intelligent, and you've got to use your wits to get through where they live. Instead, this is largely what? Zombies, basically.
Yeah, just slightly stronger zombies that can fly.
Stronger zombies that can fly.
And teleport.
And that's their cop-out AI, is that teleportation. That's not AI. That's just, they can just teleport behind you whenever they want to. That's all that is. It's total crap.
It's a fail-safe, because what are they going to do if you just start running away?
Right. And I said this when we first started playing this game, and when I made my video with the first impressions as well. The worst thing that can happen to your game, let's continue to not shoot. The melee is not responding now. Is not that people hate it. She died in one hit.
Yeah.
One punch. And you guys saw it. We're playing on midnight.
What is going on?
The server's broken. This shows you that they did not know how to do a server-sided game, and this game had no business being server-sided, because this is a crazy glitch that right now, it went from one session it played normally to the next session everything dies in one hit, because something in the code is not running right. That isn't
like the difficulty didn't apply and we're stuck on easy mode.
This is easier than easy mode. When I've played in single player, I'll put it on dusk just to like run through stuff, and you know, stuff still takes 2 or 3 hits. It's not like it's it's easy, but it's not this easy.
That easy.
Oh my god. All right, back to the safe house. Let's just take advantage of it. Let's just burn through this content. That's all that's left. We're not doing New Game Plus. People have lost interest in this Let's Play. Tucker and I are having a difficult time motivating ourselves.